Hello friends, welcome back. In previous two videos we have seen the metals and the insulators, that is conductors and the non-conductors. So in this video we have to study the one which is present in between metal and the insulator, that is known as the semiconductor. So let's start with this semiconductor. So what is semiconductor? The material whose electrical conductivity is less than that of the metal but which is greater than insulator is called as the semiconductor, right? That means the semiconductor is in between the metal and the insulator. The semiconductor has both properties, that is insulator at a low temperature and conductor at higher temperature. They shows very small energy gap. That means the energy gap between the filled band and the empty band is very small. So due to which what happens, it leads to the transfer of electron, that is conduction. The electrical conductivity increases with increase in temperature and due to addition of impurities. Then let us see the types of semiconductor. So mainly there are two types of the semiconductor. The first one is which is known as intrinsic semiconductor, and the second type is known as extrinsic semiconductor. So basically there are two types of the semiconductor, intrinsic and the extrinsic. Further, the extrinsic semiconductor is divided into two types. Okay, so the first one is the which is known as N-type semiconductors, and the second one is known as P-type semiconductors. Okay, so there are two types of the extrinsic semiconductor, N-type and the P-types. So let's start with these semiconductors. So first of all we are having intrinsic semiconductors. So what do you mean by intrinsic semiconductor? A semiconductor which does not have any kind of impurities, which behaves as an insulator at absolute normal temperature and behave as a conductor at higher temperature, is known as intrinsic or the pure semiconductor. Or simply we can say that the intrinsic semiconductor is the pure semiconductor which do not contain any kind of impurities. Okay. Then the best examples of the intrinsic semiconductors are the elements which are present in the fourth group, that is graphite, silicon, etc. Then there is a small energy gap between filled band and the empty band, that means the valence band and the conduction band. They contains very small energy gap. So when the temperature increases, what happens? The electrons from the filled band are excited and promoted into next higher empty band, right? So this is the NE curve. Here we can say that first of all we are having the first band, and that first band is called as the valence band or the filled band, and the second band is known as the conduction band, which is the empty band. So here we can say that there is very small energy gap, and as there is a very small energy gap, the electrons which are present in the valence band, they are excited into the empty, that is the conduction band, and this leads to conductivity. So this is the intrinsic semiconductor. Further we can say that the conductivity of intrinsic semiconductors increases with increase in temperature, right? Because this is due to the increase in number of excited electrons with increase in temperature. So this is all regarding the first type of semiconductor, that is intrinsic semiconductors. So let us move on. We are having the second type. Second type is the extrinsic semiconductors. So what we have seen, intrinsic semiconductor is the pure semiconductor. So extrinsic, if impurities are added to the insulators, that means the non-conductors, the material becomes semiconductor, which is called as impurity or the extrinsic semiconductor. Okay, that means these extrinsic semiconductor, they are the impurity semiconductors. Now usually the impurities, they are added either from the third group elements or the fifth group elements. Now they are on the basis of nature of impurity added. There are mainly two types of extrinsic semiconductors that we have seen. So the two types are N-type semiconductors and the P-type semiconductors. So on the basis of nature of impurity added, they are N-type and the P-types. So let's start with the first type of extrinsic semiconductor, that is N-type semiconductors. So what do you mean by here N? N means, here N stands for negatively charged electrons. Okay. So when a negative impurity atom, which is a pentavalent atom, pentavalent atom means the valence shell contains the 5 electrons, is added to intrinsic or the pure semiconductor, that means impurity atom is added to silicon or the germanium, then it is called as the N-type semiconductors. It has more valence electrons than the insulator, which creates N-type semiconductor. For example, phosphorus or the arsenic, which is a pentavalent impurity, and this pentavalent impurity is added to silicon or the germanium, which is a pure semiconductor. Now how this N-type semiconductivity occurs, let's see. So we are having the silicon or the germanium, which is having the general electronic configuration NS2 NP2, right? This is the valence shell electronic configuration. This indicates that there are 4 valence electrons in the pure silicon or the germanium. Then the impurity is either phosphorus or the arsenic, which is a pentavalent, that means its electronic configuration is NS2 NP3. So it shows that there are total 5 valence electrons, right? 4 valence electrons from the pure element and the 5 valence electrons from the impurity. So due to this, the 5 electrons from this impurity atom, they are forming the bonds with the silicon or the germanium. So the 4 other impurities electrons form bonds with the surrounding silicon atom, and this leaves 1 electron free. So one of the electron of the impurity, it remains free, and this free electron appears to move. That's why it leads to the conductivity. So we can see that we are having this N-type semiconductor. This N-type semiconductor is of the pure silicon atom, and in that we are added the impurity of arsenic. So arsenic total having 5 electrons. Out of these 5 electrons, 4 electrons, they are forming the bonds with the silicon, and this extra electron, there is an 1 electron free, and that free electron appears to migrate throughout this semiconductor. Okay, so we can see that the resulting material has large number of free electrons. And since the electrons are the negative charge carriers, so this negative charge carriers means the N. The resulting material is called as N-type or the negative type semiconductor, right? And the pentavalent impurity that is added is called as a dopant, and the process of addition of this impurity is called as the doping, right? Further, regarding this N-type semiconductors, let us see the Ne curve. So the impurity energy band is just below the valence band of the electron from empty conduction band. So this is the Ne curve. We can see we are having this filled band and the empty band, and in between these two we are having this band, and this band is of the impurity band. So first of all we are having the valence band, then the conduction band, filled band and the empty band. In between these two we are having the impurity band, which contains an extra electron, the 5th electron that is present in the impurity band. So how the conduction occurs? The electron from this impurity band is excited into the conduction band. This leads to the free movement of the electrons, that means conductivity. So the electrons from the impurity band can excite into the empty conduction band, right? And the conductivity of N-type semiconductor increases with increase in temperature, but if large increase in temperature is there, the conductivity decreases. So this is regarding the N-type semiconductor. Then we are having the second type, that is the P-type semiconductors. Now N means the negative electrons, now P means what? Here we can say that the P stands for the positive holes in the pure element. When the positive impurity atom, a trivalent atom, is added to intrinsic or the pure semiconductor, that means either silicon or the germanium, then it is known as P-type semiconductor. Okay, so it has a less number of valence electron than the insulator atom, which creates the P-type semiconductor. So let us see an example. Example is either gallium or the indium, a trivalent impurity which is added to pure silicon or the germanium. So again, silicon or the germanium, which contains total 4 valence electrons, whereas the impurity gallium or the indium, which is having NH2 NP1 electronic configuration, means it total contains only 3 valence electrons. So what we can say from this, the 3 valence electrons of the impurity, they forms bond with the pure silicon or the germanium, whereas there is 1 electron in the pure element. That means we can say that there is one positive hole in the impurity, and as the positive hole migrates, we can say that it leads to the conductivity, right? So we are having this p-type semiconductor in which the silicon, pure silicon, in which we have added the impurity of gallium, right? Now as we know that there are 3 electrons only in the impurity, so these 3 electrons, they are forming bonds with the 3 silicon, whereas the one remains vacant, right? There is a one positive hole with the impurity, and this positive hole migrates throughout the semiconductor, therefore it leads to conduction. So 3 of the impurities electrons forms bond with the surrounding silicon atom. This leaves one hole in the impurity atom, right? The positive hole. So let's see the Ne curve. So the impurity energy level is just above the filled band of the valence band. So this is the Ne curve. Again we are having the first, that is the filled band, which is called as the valence band. Then we are having the empty band, that is called as a conduction band, and in between these two we are having an band which is called as the impurity band, and this impurity band contains an extra hole, a positive hole. Now how the conduction occurs? The electrons from the valence band are excited into the impurity band, and hence it leads to the conduction. So the electrons from the valence band are excited into the empty impurity level and then into conduction band. So the conductivity of p-type semiconductor increases with increase in temperature and also by the addition of impurities, right? Then let us correlate n-type and the p-type. Now we have seen that in case of the n-type semiconductivity is due to the negative electrons. Negative electrons, they are moving through the semiconductors. So we are having again the valence band and the conduction band. So this conduction band, they contains extra electrons or the extra electron free levels, and due to these extra electrons, it is called as the n-type semiconductivity. Whereas in case of the p-type semiconductivity, we are having again valence band and the conduction band. But this valence band, they contain extra hole, and this hole, they are positive in nature, which appears to migrate. Therefore it is called as a p-type semiconductivity. N-type is due to extra electron and p-type is due to extra hole. Again, let us explain this by using a pure silicon structure. So we are having, this is a pure silicon structure in which we are having all the silicon atom. That means it is an intrinsic semiconductor. Whereas n-type semiconductor, in which we have added the impurity of phosphorus. Phosphorus impurity, due to addition of phosphorus impurity, it creates an extra electron. This is an extra electron, and this extra electron appears to migrate. Therefore it is known as the n-type silicon. Whereas p-type silicon, which is having impurity of boron, and due to addition of the boron, there is an extra positive hole, and this positive hole appears to migrate throughout this semiconductor. Therefore it is called as a p-type silicon, right? So this is regarding the n-type and the p-type. Next point, non-stoichiometry and semiconductivity. Now what do you mean by stoichiometry or the stoichiometric compounds? The compounds in which constituent ions, that means the cation and the anion, they are not in exactly same ratio as indicated by the chemical formula, are called as the non-stoichiometric crystals. Their examples are the FeO, that is iron oxide, zinc oxide, and nickel oxide, etc. Okay, so what is regarding the stoichiometric compounds? We can say the metal, the cation and the anion, they are present in the 1:1 ratio. So the FeO, iron oxide, should be Fe1O1, that is for the stoichiometric compound, but the actual composition is the Fe 0.95 and oxygen 1. That means we can say that this metal is less than the oxygen. Cation is less than the anion. Similarly, zinc oxide is found as Zn1.08O1. That means again this metal or the cation is greater than the oxygen. Whereas in case of the nickel oxide, Ni is present at 0.98 and oxygen as 1. Again, nickel is less as compared to the oxygen. So this is called as a non-stoichiometric crystals, right? So thus these compounds are non-stoichiometric. The number of positive and the negative ions present are less or more than those expected, but overall charge is neutral in the crystal. So here we have to correlate this non-stoichiometry with the semiconductivity. Now semiconductivity means here we have to particularly study the N and the P. We have to correlate N and the P type semiconductors with the non-stoichiometry. Now N type semiconductors means it is a conduction of the negative electrons, and the P type semiconductors means conduction of the positive holes. So there are two types of the defects in the crystal. They are the first one the Schottky defect and the second one Frankel defect. So we have to correlate this Schottky defect and the Frankel defect with the N type and the P type semiconductivity. So let's start with this. We are having first one the Schottky defect. So when there is an excess of metal, for example zinc oxide Zn 1.08 and O1, here we can say that the metal is more in number as compared to oxygen. So what happens when the metal is excess in number? The excess electron free to move in crystal. That means excess metal means excess electrons, more electrons, and they gives the conduction. And such type of crystals, when there is a moving of electrons, it is called as a N type semiconductor. Negative electrons means N type semiconductors. Again explain this by using this figure. Let us take an example of zinc oxide. First of all, zinc oxide is heated, which gives us ZnYO. Now here we get the excess cation. Excess cation means this Zn2 plus. It occupies the interstitial voids. These voids or the holes, they are occupied by the Zn2 plus. Whereas the electrons, they release stay associated to the interstitial cation. And there is a movement of these electrons. The free electrons, they are moving, which leads to the conduction. This is called as the N-type semiconductor. Then the second defect, that is the Frankel defect. Schottky defect is related to the movement of electrons. Now let us see the Frankel defect. When there is a deficiency of metal, that means metal is less as compared to the oxygen, such as FeO. Fe is 0.95, oxygen 1. In such compound, positive ion is absent from its normal lattice site. To balance this charge, adjacent cation gets oxidized to higher oxidation state. In this crystal, electron transfer takes place from Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus, ferrous to ferric. And these Fe3 plus ions, that means a positive ion, appears to migrate through the crystal, and since the charge carriers are the positive center, the crystal is known as the p-type semiconductor, right? So again explain this by using the figure. Here again we can say that we are having the iron oxide which is heated in the oxygen atmosphere. So we are getting the formation of the Fe2 plus and the O2 minus. So this Fe2 plus is oxidized to Fe3 plus, and then we are having the elimination of the electrons. So here we are having this Fe2 plus and this Fe3 plus. So this Fe3 plus, it appears to migrate. That means the positive holes are there, and hence it is called as the Frankel defect. And this Frankel defect is also related with the p-type semiconductor. Okay. And then lastly, the applications of semiconductors. So let us see the various applications, the uses of semiconductors. Firstly, they are used in the preparation of thermostats and the photo cells. thermostat and photocells. The thermostats are used to control temperature in heating device. This is the example heating device which consists of thermostat. Okay, then the photocell is used for a long distance signaling and automation. Okay, this is the figure for this. Then the semiconductor are used in making thermocouples which are used to produce electricity. So by using the semiconductors, thermocouples are prepared and which are used to produce electricity, to generate the electricity, right? Further, more applications of semiconductors in rectification of an AC current is used to convert AC into DC by PN junction diodes. So this is a PN junction diode. Then in transistors, in electronics, PNP junction serve as a device of amplification used to control current intensity and voltage. So this is the PNP junctions. Then the semiconductors, they are used to convert heat energy into electrical energy. Okay, this is a device. Then they are used in television, radio, mobile set, etc. So we are having the television set, radio, again one more television. So these are the various applications of the semiconductors. There is very vast applications of semiconductors. Okay, thank you.